Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the battle for states. 4th of June doesn't seem so far away. We are back with election coverage, ladies and gentlemen. This time it's one big state and one union territory that is very, very critical. Two stories that will take the story of democracy, story of ballot, perhaps to a different level of discourse, especially when we talk about the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And the state of Haryana will be the direct battle between the Congress and the BJP. And this Congress and the opposition, the India Alliance's surge post the 4th of June, where they claim that they seem to have captured the imagination of the voter and the people, and they are a strong, robust group. And the BJP, which wants to perhaps make a story here, which says that no, electoral losses come and go, but we are here to stay, and the narrative under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi prevails. But the local factors in this Akhada of Haryana, what's the real dangal all about? Well, the pollsters have cast their ballot. The numbers indicate that it's about 61% by 5 p.m. We'll come to that in just a bit. In studio with me, Zaka Jacob, as always on the magic wall. We've got Rahul Shivshankar, our consulting editor, with a whole host of experts, guests who've been tracking. And everybody's been looking at the numbers differently, or perhaps the trends differently. Haryana is one way already given to the Congress. Is it truly? What's the story? Is the voter going to vote for change after nearly a decade? Aarti Tikku with us, Nalin Mehta, Advaita Kala, and of course Pallavi Ghosh, who's been tracking and reporting on ground, along with the likes of Arunima, Avantika, and we've got Ishan Vani, all of them joining Arun Dhanta. All our reporters have been on ground covering the polls in these two regions. But what's at stake? Let's quickly get a grip on that before we open up the conversation. The exit poll numbers from those pollsters who are doing the exit polls will be coming in by about 6:30 p.m. And also, we'll be doing the poll of polls here, ladies and gentlemen. We here at the News 18 network are not doing any exit poll at all. But when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir and also Haryana, it's two high-stake polls that we are looking at. That's the criticality here. Haryana Dangal, is it for change? That's the big question. The polls in Jammu and Kashmir are the first after a decade. And it's the first time that it's for assembly elections post the abrogation of 370. So it's the UT's first vote for itself. And Haryana, it's a single-phase election. Jammu and Kashmir saw 3 phases. Haryana, single phase, all 90 seats going to the ballot today. Fight for survival and relevance for some of the regional parties in Haryana. The JJP, the INLD. Fight for survival and relevance even for some of the Rivayati parties in Jammu and Kashmir, be it the PDP or the National Conference. Will they still hold sway? What happens with the Congress party there? There is the argument of restoration or bringing back Article 370 and going back to those days, along with perhaps the underlying commitment to statehood. So as per the Supreme Court guidelines, they've conducted the assembly polls. Is this perhaps the next big step to statehood? All these conversations, do they resonate on ground, or are the issues on which people have voted on ground different from what we are talking here in the studios? We'll get to know all of that and get the pulse. But first, it's about Haryana. We'll get to Jammu and Kashmir in just a bit. Zaka Jacob on the wall with Haryana plotted. Is it going to be a similar scenario, or is this map going to look very different on result day?
We will know on Tuesday, 8th of October, what this map will look like. But this is how it played out in 2019. Remember, the BJP is in power for 10 years in Haryana. They had not come to power on their own in Haryana till 2014, and then 10 straight years in power. The last time in 2019, the BJP just about, it was still short of the halfway mark at 45. BJP managed 45 short of the halfway mark, but the JJP played kingmaker. Dushyant Chautala's party had 10% vote share, 10 seats, so 40 plus 10. They went past that 45. The Congress came short. It was just at 31 seats. This time around, the JJP, the INLD, the Aam Aadmi Party, which has also fielded, I think, about 70-odd seats out of the 90. Will they be relegated to the margins? Is it going to be a straight fight between the Congress and the BJP? Is it a classic case of anti-incumbency? I think that is going to be the critical question as far as Haryana is concerned. And very quickly, as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, this is new terrain. This is completely uncharted territory. Anand was mentioning this is the first election in 10 years, first election after abrogation of 370, and most importantly, first election in a wholly delimited Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes.
These constituencies, the way they exist today, did not exist in the last election cycle or the one before that. So this is completely new terrain, as it were. And like I said, here it's not a question of anti-incumbency or pro-incumbency. It's simply a question of, I think, the people's democratic choice to vote. They've got this after a long 10-year period, and people have come out and cast their ballot. Let's see which way they have decided to side with for the next 5 years.
Barring some ebbs or in some districts in Jammu and Kashmir, overall around 60% plus is the voter turnout, which is healthy, and that means there has been sizable, in some places been overwhelming. In Haryana, 5 p.m. the numbers say 61% voter turnout overall. Is that good, bad? Before we throw it across to Rahul Shankar along with our guests, quickly going across to Arun Danta. He's joining us from Sonipat. Arun, what's the feel on ground? As the dust settles, polling should come to a close now.
Well, that's right, Anand. And today, for the entire day, I was traveling in GT Karnal belt, and it's a very important belt for the BJP. Why? Because this time around they have a chief minister who comes from the OBC community, and this belt has a sizable population of OBC. Places like Sonipat, Yamunanagar, Kurukshetra, Ambala, Sonipat, they all fall in this GT Karnal belt. And last time around in 2019, it was 50-50. BJP won 14 seats and Congress won 13 seats from this side. But this time around, when it is up to Naib Singh Saini, who comes from the OBC community, I think that's the card which BJP played when they replaced Manohar Lal Khattar. I started my day with Ladwa, from where Saini is contesting for the very first time.
Right.
This, of course, assembly segment comes under Kurukshetra, from where he was member of parliament. But one thing which I have observed on the ground in these areas is that there are hyper-local issues. I was speaking to people in Ladwa. They were saying for them the major issue is traffic congestion. Bypass is something which they want. When I asked them about the Agniveer farmers protest and others, the big national issues which made big headlines, they said these issues are secondary. What is important for us is hyper-local issues. They face traffic congestion on daily basis. So these are the issues that I found in
So
other
you're saying
assembly
27 of the
segments
90 seats in this GT Karnal region that you talked about, Arun, great job done. We've got to catch up and we've got to move on quickly. So that's why moving on and getting you all up to speed on the voter turnout. Let's just quickly look at the voter turnout. Till 5 p.m. Ambala city vote were reported about 55% as a voter turnout. If you look at Ambala Cant, and there you had and Cant, Ambala Cant came to 59.3%. Bhiwani is at 62.26%. Dadri is at 62.26%. So that was Bhiwani, and this is Dadri at 56.3%. You have Faridabad, which is reported about 49%. So a lower turnout in Faridabad. Gurgaon is at 47%. So again, lower turnout in Gurgaon. Hisar is 57%. Panipat city is 54.6%. Rewari is 61.3%. So that's Panipat city, 54.6, and we'll get to Rewari. Now we'll have Rewari up next coming through. That is at 61.3%. And then Sonipat, where we just had Arun Danta, and the voter turnout is less than 50% at 5 p.m. It's 48.7%. Yamunanagar, it's 64.88%. So there are certain regions which are polling or showing less than 50% turnout. Even the urban belts and the ones which are supposed to be BJP strongholds, it should be a cause for worry for the BJP. And there are other places where the turnout is quite strong. Overall, a robust 61%. Rahul Shankar.
Yeah, let's just quickly break down Haryana for our viewers. Couple of things I want to say. Even in 2019, the BJP found it hard in Haryana. They didn't quite make the halfway mark. This is coming right off a very, very impressive performance in the Lok Sabha. So fundamentally speaking, already you saw anti-incumbency beginning to snip at the heels of the BJP as far back as in 2019. Now, what the BJP will be really hoping for is that this entire contest turns into a three-way contest. Going up against the Congress with a face that is untried, Mr. Saini, is a big gamble for the BJP. So they are hoping that it's going to turn into a three-way contest. One myth that I really want to break here is that in the 2024 election that turned into the Lok Sabha, that turned into a two-way contest. As you know, the other parties, the JJP, etc., the INLD, all melted away after having done very well at the assembly level 5 years back, and of course the Lok Sabha in 2014. What really happened was they turned into a two-way contest, but the Jat vote did not really significantly move away from the BJP. This is the one thing that a lot of people are missing out